Thank you so much, Wayne. So before I continue, let me first acknowledge some of the people who are here with us. And I'm going to start with the Executive Mayor, Mayor Van
Good
Wyk.
morning, ladies and gentlemen. In my greeting to you, I humbly observe
And Chief Whip Bernard also may come.
welcome and feel welcome in a beautiful town of the greater Oudtshoorn municipality. My sincere hope is that each and everyone present
So why are we here at the WCPP?
I wish that
We are here at the
this
WCPP
program
to introduce
is the
the Western
beginning
Cape Provincial
of
Parliament to
engagement,
you.
the
To
action
say
and bigger
it is time that you
coalition will
understood
start
exactly what
from
the
this
WCPP
engagement.
does.
As
Also time for
representative
you
of
to understand
council,
how you
more
also
especially the
participate in
executive
the
mayor,
activities of the Western Cape Provincial
Admiral
Parliament.
Valencio Johnson
So
and
that's
our
one of the reasons.
community, we thank you for availing time to attend this session and for your tireless effort towards addressing our social challenge. All the best, and we look forward to the outcome of this session and your proposal here too. I thank you.
So once again, thank you for coming. Welcome everybody. I see there are new people coming in.
The Thetha Nathi program was a brain that started at the Western Cape Provincial Parliament
just come and say
beginning
a few words,
6 months
and then you
after
can move forward. Thank you, sir.
And the newly elected Speaker of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament said that this Parliament will be a Parliament for the people. And then COVID stopped us and we couldn't go anywhere. But as soon as COVID allowed us out, we decided that let us do that which the Speaker has set out to do and to be from 2019. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to the Speaker of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament, Honourable Nkasela. Sir.
It reaches out and tells us more about the interaction of the public with our parliament and obviously also the national parliament and how that works.
Thank you, Ms. Fouché, and
can be interacting
again
on an ongoing basis.
Madam
So
Speaker,
I think we all see we are in a bit of a unique situation here where something similar is taking place in Oudtshoorn, and we're getting
today
this
we've
virtual
got some
broadcast
honorable members and we also
participating.
have Rad leader. We then have to determine the two so that the Speaker of Oudtshoorn does not occupy my seat in my presence. But then Ms. Fouché understood that. So, Paya, thank you and thank you. I know that you've come here wondering, what is this about? That's exactly what we want to do, to be able to articulate it, because it is our program and you are the guest. So we must be able to tell the guests, but the most beautiful thing here is that we've got the honorable members who are present. I see Honorable Mvimbi. Will you please rise so that they see you? Thank you very much. Thank you. Honorable Mvimbi is the ANC member of parliament. No, he's not the mayor. He was the mayor in Pito, but he's now the honorable member of parliament and the chairperson of SCOPA in the Western Cape Provincial Parliament. It's a very important job, very important job. But I also want to say to the councillors that are present here from all political parties, I see councillors at the back. I also bumped into some councillors yesterday here and the speaker was with me. You are all welcome in this event because you are in parliament now, Madam Speaker. When you stand in this podium, you are in parliament. It's just that parliament is now in Oudtshoorn, but otherwise you are in parliament. So I've taken over now as the Speaker of Parliament in order to articulate this program. But I want to appreciate the partnership that the Western Cape Provincial Parliament has with the local government. And of course, to further recognize the ongoing work between the Western Cape Provincial Parliament and the sector through SALGA, and of course, to further appreciate the interest of stakeholders, community organizations, community leaders, members in our communities for understanding their role in what we need to achieve as a collective leadership, and that is Parliament and the people. The background to this program, Thetha Nathi, is influenced by my understanding of what Parliament should be doing. I do not think Parliament should be a place that is in Cape Town, that starts in Cape Town and ends in Cape Town. We just cannot do this. Parliament is a parliament of the people of the Western Cape. And Western Cape does not start and end in Cape Town. Western Cape has 5 districts, plus the metro. Metro is part of the Western Cape. It is not the Western Cape.
Community
And we've
development.
got 24 local municipalities, and all of them recognize the fact that they have this parliament that is a parliament that should have interest in what they do and what happens in those communities. But I don't think
Of Bakatala.
Parliament for the longest time has recognized that responsibility. And that is why in the 6th term of Parliament, I said upon my election as the Speaker, tell the one that's talking there, I'm the only one that speaks now.
Develop a commitment.
I said upon my election as the Speaker, we need to do things differently. And the office of the Speaker is here. The Director of the Public Engagement Unit in Parliament was talking here, Ms. Fouchier. And the team that has been doing public engagement, they've been going around for the longest time. It's not new. Engaging communities, stakeholders, since the beginning of Parliament. But we just wanted to be impactful and make sure that whatever that we do must not only be understood by us. Parliament, there are 3 major responsibilities of Parliament in terms of the Constitution. 1, it is responsible for lawmaking. Number 2, it is responsible for public participation. Number 3, which is extremely important, the role of Parliament is to ensure that we hold the executive to account. And the executive is the ministers, its government, is those who are charged with the front line of service delivery. The ministers who give you houses, the ministers who give you health services, the ministers who are responsible for agriculture, economic development, sports, and so forth and so forth. Now, they get budget from Parliament because Parliament passes budget and then gives it to them. Now, we want them to report back to Parliament and say, this is what we've done with the money that Parliament has given to them. So that is another part that is important. So those are 3 most responsibilities for Parliament. But the area of public participation, which is relevant to what we are doing today, I do not think people have really been very active in the work that we do as Parliament. I remember the first time I became the Speaker, I invited somebody to come see me in Parliament, Honorable Mvimbi. And this person calls me and say, Mr. Speaker, I'm in the visitor center. I said, okay. No, I'm in the visitor center. I said, where? They say here, you are in your office. I said, but where? It says in Plain Street. Then I realized there's something wrong here. So even where we are as Parliament, the building in Wales Street, people think when they go to town, Parliament is the national Parliament. They don't know that there's also a provincial Parliament. Am I correct? Even when you want to visit Cape Town, you think that if you must go to Cape Town, you must go to Parliament, but you don't know that there's a provincial parliament. Now, Thetha Nathi seeks to respond to that, seeks to create the relationship and the bond, an emotional connection between us, Parliament, and you, the people. Because this is a parliament of the people. It's your parliament. It is your parliament. Just recently, a friend to Mr. Matlucha, who's the head of the office of the speaker, called him and said, I would like to visit, Nathan. And then he rocks up there and obviously they talk, but they ask him, yeah, I've always had a dream. And they ask him, what is the dream? I would want to see members of parliament debating one day, but what is the procedure? And then he said to him, no, you can go and sit there. And then he says, really? So he comes to my office to introduce this guest, Mr. Matluchan. So I sit with Mr. Nathan and then we talk with Nathan. And he says, Speaker, is it true that you can come and sit? This is a well-educated man, Mr. Ace, well-educated man. It's not about education or not education. It's just that people in general don't know that parliament is their parliament. And I said to Nathan, Nathan, come and be my special guest. So he then came and sat in the speaker's box there. There's something called speaker's box for a very important visitors to the speaker. And then he said, no, he's going to sit up there. So he sat there and watched. I could see that he could not believe that he's in parliament. Now, how much more to an ordinary voter, an ordinary member of our communities? The Tannies who are unemployed, the Tannies who don't have that high education, the Tannies who don't even have that much of a voice in the community. How is their own perception and feeling of what parliament is? That is what we need to do to create that impression that parliament, and it must be real, that parliament is your parliament. It is a parliament of the people. And that's what I said when I got elected as the speaker. In 2019, on the 22nd of May, I said, this parliament will be a parliament of the people. And this parliament will place people at the center of everything we do, because we want to ensure that you own your parliament, because it's your parliament. That's why when we go out to public, we've got outreach programs to do public oversight visits where we go and look at a housing project and see whether houses that are being built, it's quality. We go and look at whether schools that are being built, it's quality, Mr. Honorable Mvimbi. We also go and look at whether the roads and bridges, sports fields, is it quality? But when we go to communities, often people don't know that we were even there, Mr. Stemmen. Now, we've got to do things differently. So Thetha Nathi, simply put, means common sprat met ons, common gesels. Let us talk to us. Because we want a dialogue, we want a conversation with you, the people. One of the things I did as the speaker, I said to my team in parliament, I'm a different speaker. I like getting involved. I saw Ms. Fushia once said, hey, Speaker, it seems you're going to keep us busy. I said I want to get involved, but one of the things I had to do that was to change the vision of parliament. We had a very interesting vision. You could walk to town and back trying to understand that. You could go to the ostrich farms or even George and come back trying to understand what this vision is. But then we crystallized it and said this parliament, the vision is that it must be the best regional parliament, which is it must be a best parliament, but it must be a leading parliament. It must be a parliament of the people. It must be a relevant parliament, but also it must be a parliament that recognizes our abilities of using technology, which is it must be innovative, it must be creative. That's why when every parliament was closed at the beginning of COVID-19, you may have seen it if you follow our Facebook page. The Western Cape Provincial Parliament, within 2 to 3 weeks, were online and our sittings were taking place. Members were debating on the computer. So we were busy. Councillors were even on leave. Some councillors realized later towards the end of the year that they can actually have meetings via the computer, even their cell phones. But this parliament, Honorable Mvimbi, who's present here, will confirm. Please don't compete with my voice there. Honorable Mvimbi will confirm we had an active parliament. And we even changed the rules to accommodate that. But do you know, as a voter, do you know, as a member of our society, as a stakeholder, that Parliament did all these things? That means when the COVID money, the COVID budget was being spent, ministers did not spend the money without accounting to Parliament. Because we know most people stole money during this COVID problem. As we are dying, burying families, they're stealing money. But we said we will monitor them so that it does not happen where the Western Cape Provincial Parliament must be responsible. And I mean, we're going to be in trouble because Honorable Mvimbi, as the chair of SCOPE, I was going to call them afterwards and say, you stole money. But he has not been able to call them because there's no money stolen. But it is because Parliament in the Western Cape was able to use its own capacity, its own resources, but also to use our own resources in a way that will make Parliament continue to do its job so that members of Parliament do not get paid for sleeping at home when everybody else has lost their jobs. So I hope that you'll use this opportunity of Thetha Nathi to engage us, but also to share some ideas. Let me tell you, yes, we've come to you to talk to you about this program, but we're not the most clever people under the sun. That means some of the ideas are there with you. Do not shy away from saying, Mr. Speaker, have you considered this? Have you considered that? Because we're not people who come here assuming that we have got the monopoly of wisdom and authority. That's why we are partners as stakeholders. We are partners with you, and we want you to feel that and recognize that as Parliament, we are not just Parliament in an island. We exist in your community. And this launch, yes, we started in the Garden Route. Yes, we are in Oudtshoorn now, but in George, they are listening and other people are connecting virtually. And I want to say to those of us who are connecting online, I hope you are able to understand that we could not have you here in one big venue because of COVID-19. But we thank you that you were able to join us and you were able to participate in the manner in which you are. We've got honorable members of Parliament who are connecting virtually. We've got councillors, we've got speakers, we've got mayors who are connecting virtually. And that means as we're sitting here, they are listening to us, they are part of this program. And I want to thank you and say that it's indeed an opportunity that you must exploit to take this program to every single corner of the province. So from here, we'll be going to the other districts. Will be in the Central Karoo. We will be in the West Coast. We'll be in Cape Winelands. We'll be in the Overberg. We'll be in the Metro. That means we'll be in your every town, in every corner of this province. And indeed, we live up to the promise in our vision that will be a parliament of all people, a parliament for the people in the communities where people are. And this is one special moment. We're excited that we've been able to do this at this moment. We wanted to do it sooner, but the lockdown brought by COVID-19 pandemic could not allow us to do this sooner. And having done it today, and of course, tomorrow I will be in Mossel Bay, we'll be doing the same thing. As I indicated, from here immediately, I'm going to George. They are assembling there. They are there. They're listening to us. So we will be in every corner, but you must make sure that as we continue to engage, now you become an ambassador of Thetha Nathi. You must tell people that we want to go to Parliament, come, I will take you there, so that you can come and see your Parliament. It can't be that the only time people come to Parliament, it's when we invite you. Because for the first time, Ms. Fouchier, I thought we were going to tell them that, in the 6th term of Parliament, we took Parliament out to the people for the State of the Province address. Madam Speaker, you've never seen that before. You've been a councillor here. Councillors that are sitting there, you know that Parliament used to open itself there for themselves in the city, in Cape Town. But we came to, the first one, we took it to Rocklands in Mitchell's Plain in 2019 after being elected Speaker. And then the next one, we took it to, the next one we took it here, Genadendal in the Overberg. And people in Genadendal could not believe, but we are also important. Because we were there in Genadendal. And some said we didn't know that we've never seen MPs here. Yeah? We did not see a minister, we don't have visitors here from Parliament. But they did not only see the Speaker, they saw their leaders, because all members of Parliament were there. But also we brought councillors there, because sometimes they also become tourists in their own communities. Yeah, they become tourists, not these ones here. But you do get councillors when we go around, because we've also been doing the school shoe program, where we go to communities and giving school shoes with my social partners. We don't pay for school shoes as Parliament. The partners that I work with as the Speaker, we go around and give school shoes. I've got 2 important partners that I work with, Samaritan's Feet and Youth for Life. When we get to the communities there, they say, oh, thank you. And thank you for bringing our councillor. We didn't know that this is the councillor for us. So Thetha Nathi is beyond than just a talk show. It's an opportunity to bring your elected representatives to you. We also know that some MPs are visitors, are tourists in their constituencies. Eh? I know, because I go to these communities across this province. But Thetha Nathi will then be able, you see these slides that are showing who's the MP, and it's gonna be able to reflect, and then you can also have the number of that MP and say, extra nome LP geskakel. And say, meneer of mevrouw, ons moet 'n vergadering met jou, man. Ons moet praat. There are problems in my community because we don't want MPs to hide behind COVID-19. But they go to restaurants. Eh? They go to shopping malls. They even go on holiday. You see them in price. That's why I'm happy that Honorable Mvimbi is here. So that when we take you to communities now, we'll do it. And you'll be forced to come, because when we put up this, Ms. Fouchier, they've got nice slides here to show who's the MP for what area. And we're gonna put, if the contact numbers are not there, I'm demanding that. I'm now giving you an instruction. And when the Speaker gives an instruction, it's final, because no one is above me in Parliament. You put the contact numbers and emails, not just the smiles. It's not a beauty contest. So that we can get the tannies to call and say, mevrouw, ek is jammer, ek het nie gesien jou nie. Waar bly jy? Because we want people to know that they've got representatives, not only to see them when they come to campaign, because they want to be voted for, but we want them to be present when it's dark, when there's light, when there's pain, and when there's sorrow, and when there's happiness, they must be with the people all the time. And that is what Thetha Nathi will achieve with you as an important partner. And that's why we're not just coming here because we just had nothing else to do. So we wanted to tick boxes. This is an important program, and we want you to hold us up to it. We want to bring your leaders to you, but also want you to share with us your frustrations. And it's an important and a very special opportunity. Let us enjoy this relationship with the Western Cape Provincial Parliament. And we want you to know that we care for you and we appreciate you. May God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Actually, I think I've got a bit of a tear there. So the Speaker has introduced and launched the Thetha Nathi program, which, as the Speaker indicated, is come talk to us, kom praat met ons. And I'm going to ask Mr. Kayaleta Mkunyana, who is the Senior Public Education Outreach Officer for Western Cape Provincial Parliament, to facilitate your introduction to the Speaker and the members who are present. Mr. Mkunyana. It is very important for us to get to know you and what you do and your role in this community. We'll be honoured to listen to you. Thank you. Thank you, Kaya.
Okay, yes, sir.